What's going on, everyone? Juicebags here, and welcome back to some Dungeon Defenders 2. It is Wednesday, so it's Prime Incursion Day, and here we are on the Revenge of the Yeti, the midway point through the Prime number 5 zone. Now, since there is one more map coming in Prime 5, we will not be getting a Hyper Shard today. However, a week from today, we will be unlocking one more Hyper Shard. Now, the Yeti map here features frost mobs. This was actually the introduction of frost enemies to Dungeon Defenders 2 when this incursion initially released, and then there's a couple of basic rules to follow with frost mobs. First off, frost mobs are immune to slow, so don't bother using any slow in your defenses, with the exception of the Dryad's Mushrooms and the Frozen Path mod. Nothing else is going to slow these frosty mobs. Now, in addition to that, frost mobs do take double damage from fire. So with that in mind, we are going to want to put some fire in the deck, and I'm going to go really heavily with flame auras and fissures. Now, since every frost mob in the game is present, we do know there's going to be frost orcs. Since there's frost orcs, we're going to overcap our defense rate. So as you see here on my fissures, I have a defense rate mod at 10 out of 10, and then I have a gilded defense rate shard. Now this is way over the top, way higher than you need to be. However, this is just the setup I have. Now I am going to stack in some flame auras as well, and we're going to take advantage of our third shard slot, which right now I'm stacking destruction and mass destruction, and we're going to get rid of that destruction shard so we have a little less power. And we're going to go with another defense rate shard in place of it. That way we can overcap our flame auras as well. Now what I mean by overcap is most defenses you need 75% defense rate to cap the defense. That's not for all defenses in the game. Some don't need to go that high, but the majority of the defenses will get to the rate cap at 75%. Meaning you're going to get 35% from your ascension, which means we need to come up with another 40%. Now, since we need another 40%, we're going to be getting that from our defense rate mod. This will put us at the 75%. Now, by overcapping our rate and getting it as close to 100% as possible, we're going to completely ignore the frozen effect of the frost orcs. Now let's go ahead and build it out, and there's a few things I'm still going to do that you all will be familiar with. Now we're still going to go with the 1 amp warrior build, however we're going to have to make some changes to it. There's no point in carrying a slow in our boost aura, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of boosted grasp, and I'm going to throw in boosted power in exchange for it. Now we do have flyers. They do come out of the ground lanes. They come out right here, and they come out right here. Now, the flyers on this lane will head up in the air very quickly, so although you can get some damage on them with auras that are placed right at the spawn, they are going to go up and out of range of that area very, very quickly. So to make up for that, I'm going to go ahead and throw down 2 Skyguard towers. I'm going to go one there and say another one right here. Now this is going to leave me 1,000 DU left, and as you can see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 entrances. So I now have 200 DU to spend per lane. This is actually a double lane, so we're going to have to be extra careful here. But let's go ahead and build it out using a variation of the 1 amp warrior build and see how we do. Now, first things first, I want to check and make sure there's no cyborgs, and it doesn't appear there are any cyborgs, so I don't really have to worry about any cyborg stuns going off. So let's go with something like a proton beam. Now remember, the slow available from the proton beam is not going to do anything for us. However, the freeze will. So a frozen mob or a frost mob can be frozen. It just can't be slowed. So I've got 150 DUs spent here. As we know, we've got 200 per lane, so it's going to be a little bit tight here, but I'm going to go with a flame aura alone right there, and then I'm going to leave this entrance alone as I do need to conserve just a touch. Now these bottom two lanes, this lane here and this far lane over here, I want to try to set up where I can ignore these lanes as best as possible and just focus on the top half of the map. So what I'm going to do on these lanes is go with our usual setup, but I'm also going to throw that Fisher in for a little bit of double duty here. Now once again, we're not overly concerned at all about any sort of stun because we do have our main two defenses, the Flame Aura and the Fisher, in this situation overcapped. I'm not going to overcap my Reflect Beams. Now although the Reflect Beams are a powerhouse, I'm using the Reflect Beams for the Petrify because as these frozen mobs, or frosty mobs, can't be slowed, they can be stunned. So we do want to get some stun going on the lane. Let's do the same exact thing over here and see how it holds up. So we'll go with something like that. We'll get our Reflect Beam in for a little Petrify damage. And then that's going to leave me, what, 400 DU, and I've still got the two lanes. Now, this lane I do want to kind of go as close to the spawn as possible. However, if frost mobs come out of this lane, it's really gonna hurt things quite a bit. So I think I'm going to go across the lane here with something like that, and then we'll kind of intertwine maybe. Let's put the Reflect right behind the Proton. Let's see if we can't get these nodes a little bit closer together. Let's go with something like that. Then we'll throw in our Lightning Strike Aura and our Boost Aura. Now here I'm actually debating on going 2 Flame Auras instead of the Fisher, and the reason is those flyers. That will help me out a little bit with the flyers. Let's see if we can see. Do we have a flyer squiggly? Doesn't look like we're going to have a little squiggly coming out to path them, but the flyers will come out and go up right away. So unless these flame auras kill them, it is going to take a little bit to get these burned out. Now, let's see. What do we want to do here? I think here we're going to do something kind of similar to that. So let's go with a Proton Beam. Let's get it as close as we can here. Let's go ahead and just double up on the Proton Beam. We'll do something like that. Let's get our Reflect Beam in. We'll go something like that, and that will get us that Petrify. That's going to leave me 110 DU, so I'm going to be a little bit tight here. That leaves me 90. You know what? Instead of going a Boost Aura here, I'm going to go 2 Flame Auras, and then I'm going to get that Fisher in. Now, upgrades are going to be really super duper important here, as there could just be massive problems. Now, as I mentioned, I do want to be able to stay away from the 2 bottom lanes. Ideally, I'd like to stay away from this one too. So I am going to go ahead and throw an upgrade on, see that Flame Aura and that Reflect. We'll do the same thing here with the Reflect and the Flame Aura, and then once again we'll do the same thing over here. Just the Reflect and the Flame Aura. Actually, I could do Fisher and Flame Aura. Either way, I just want to get a couple of upgrades spent on those lanes that I want to try to ignore. And let's see how Wave 1 goes. Now this is my completely first run through the map. I don't know what to expect. I don't know what the mob levels are. But we can tell that it is going with the regular theme of this Incursion map by having massive frost enemies. So here we go with wave number 1, and let's see how it holds. I'm going to have to just keep an eye on the mini-map. I do want to kind of spray into these lanes up here. And you know what? I didn't check the mob level yet. Let's see here. Yeah, see, those flyers did indeed make it out. 156 mobs left. Still yet to see a mob level. Let's see, we got some enemies coming out here. What are we? 56? I died there trying to read it. I couldn't quite see it. It looked like 56,000 and change. Let's see if I can get a look at these flyers. For 57,988. Wow. So 57,988. This is by far the highest difficulty level of any of the maps yet. And that's going to come in actually slightly above floor 333 difficulty. So not quite 334, but definitely above 333. So these mobs are going to be a lot healthier, and we are going to see some extremely healthy bosses. And, you know, the thing is called the Yeti Incursion, so, I mean, we're going to have Yetis, as you see right there. So let's go ahead and upgrade this entire lane, since it's a Yeti lane. Hit both of those auras and the reflect. Let's do the exact same thing here. I actually feel like I probably could have went with one Sky Guard, since I'm kind of manning this side of the map. One Sky Guard would have freed up another 50 DU. And then let's come down here. I want to get these flame auras just jacked up. So let's see. We'll go. Oh, I actually upgraded the proton there at the beginning of the wave by accident. Let's go with that. Let's see. Hopefully, there's enough mana lane over here for at least one more upgrade. Not looking good. Nope, only 88. So can't upgrade either of those. I'll hit the reflect beam there on that lane. So alright, we know we've got one Yeti coming. Looks like just the one for wave number 2 here, but let's see how we do. Now this is holding up better than I expected it to for the mob difficulty. The flyers, of course, are no joke. They're just pushing right on out. Looks like we're getting the job done here, though. Now, one of the interesting things about this map, and it's going to hold true in the Prime Incursions too, is there's no cyborgs, so there's really going to be a crazy amount of diversity that you can do with the builds. This map back in the day was a fantastic archer map. I'm looking forward to trying it out with archers. I'm a little bit worried about the difficulty level, as it is much higher difficulty than it originally was back in the day, of course. But you've got a lot of wonderful areas, like, you know, the big deal with skeletal archers is being able to take advantage of both sides of the archer. You could place archers like right here, and it's going to fire directly down into both of those lanes, and you're going to get full use out of your archers. So I'm excited for the possibilities to play around a little on this map. Now, in addition, it's a huge map, but it's only got the 2 cores. So you could do some viable turtle builds on these maps too, and anxious to try those out as well. But things are holding strong so far. So far, so good. Let's just continue to throw some upgrades around. Let's hit both of these flame auras. And then this time I'm going to come down to this far frozen cavern lane here and dump that remaining 300. So let's get our flame. Oh, I missed the flame aura. There we go. We got all 3, the flame, the fissure, and the reflect upgraded. We're going to have enough for another random upgrade here. Let's hit the fissure. Nope, not enough juice. We can do the reflect beam. And then not enough to do anything here, so I'll just hold on to this 77. And let's get wave 3 going. This is an absolutely gorgeous map, and although the difficulty is high, the map itself, for the amount of DU that's available, it's pretty darn easy to build. And although my Sky Guards are getting some action in, I really think I could have went with one Sky Guard. That would free up another 50, and another 50 would do wonders. I mean, I could buff this area with a boost aura, since I chose not to. Or I could just throw in some more damaging defenses somewhere else. Definitely so far so good, and it's just, like I mentioned, it's just the right mob combination. The frost mobs are not a huge deal if you're prepared for them. And by overcapping the rate on those 2 fire defenses, not only am I getting the double damage from the benefit of doing fire damage, but they're also not getting frozen by those frost orcs. Now, when you do overcap the rate, you will still see the frozen animation going off. However, if you look at the tooltip of the tower itself, you will see that even when the frozen animation is happening, the tower itself is still not losing any of its defense speed. Actually, super smooth run so far, and it's just getting the upgrades in. I missed and upgraded the wrong thing again there. That's alright. See, we got 500 left. I'm going to dump it all down here. Actually, we got a boss lane here. What are we going to have? It looks like we got a Yeti. Imagine that. The Yeti map has Yetis. And let's see, we're going to have another over here. That's a Yeti as well. Yeah, I think we're good. We'll just hold off here and let it run. And I'm just going to kill the Yetis from the safety of hiding behind this this post here with the lantern in it. Or the fire in it. Yeti shouldn't be able to get me up here. Yeah, I'm pretty confident I could have done one Skyguard. I could have just left that Skyguard right there and not used this one at all. And that would have freed up a little bit more DU. So let's get these Yetis burned down. It looks like they're actually getting wrecked by the Petrify. Having them parked, all of the mobs for that matter, having them parked inside of all this fire damage is just pretty much GG. As you get the double damage by default, you don't have to have any special mods or anything like that. Now, obviously, if you've got your defenses tweaked out to handle anti-frost or anti-melee, they're going to be just insanely effective on this map. But the base recipe for frost mobs is without a doubt fire damage. That way you instantly double the damage output of your fire-based defenses. 13 mobs left, but it actually looks like it's a complete steamroll. So this map is going to be a little bit smoother, I think, than last week's map, even with the greatly increased difficulty, bumping it all the way up to floor 333 plus. So, without a doubt, this is the healthiest mobs we have seen so far. Now, with one more week of Prime number 5 until we get our next Hyper Shard, the week after that, of course, Prime number 6 is going to unlock. Now, Prime 6 has just 2 maps in it. It's got the Dawn of the Blood Moon Incursion, and it's got the Betsy map. So we are going to be able to fight Betsy at the end of this, which is just absolutely awesome. In my opinion, I think Betsy is the most iconic boss fight in the game, and I'm so stoked that we're going to get that at a higher difficulty now. However, when we complete those 2 maps in Prime 6, we're actually going to get 2 Hyper Shards. We're going to get 1 Hyper Shard for clearing Prime 6, and then we'll get an additional, the 7th and final Hyper Shard. We'll get that for clearing all of the incursions. So you definitely want to stay caught up on the incursions and get them done. That way you get that double whammy reward once we get Prime 6 completed. This has actually gone insanely smoothly, and when I first saw the mob difficulty, I was a little bit concerned that I probably shouldn't have built this way. However, you know, as I mentioned, frost mobs are immune to slow, but not stun, and Petrify is indeed a stun. So we've got massive Petrify going right up front, parking those enemies inside, a ton of fire damage, and that is just the recipe for success against any frost mobs in the game. 8 mobs left. I don't even need to look at them, I don't think. Where are they at? Looks like they're going to come out over here. And just a straight up steamroll. So, floor 333 difficulty, however, not too terrible really. I think this will be a little bit of a gear check for people that are going into it with lower ascension. However, this map is going to have some possibilities and I can definitely see a bunch of unique builds coming out for this map in the very near future. Any ideas on what you like to see on this particular map or how you like to build it? Make sure to let me know down in the comments below, and I will definitely try to put some unique things together other than just spamming the same old Wamp Warrior build every single week. This map, the sky is the limit. There's lots of build opportunities. You can build up top, you can build on all of these surfaces everywhere, and just lots of cool stuff that will be able to get done. So that will do it for now. That is the Revenge of the Yeti incursion in Prime number 5. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to click that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. And there is a fancy new staff for me, the Conspiracy. I haven't seen that one yet. It looks pretty sharp. But thank you all once again, and I will see you next time around. Take it easy.